Imagine this, you build a Python application and everything works perfectly. But suddenly, file not found, invalid input, application crashed, no error tracking, no logs. Now your manager asks what exactly failed in production, and you have no answer. This is where professional Python developers use file handling, exceptional handling, and logging. And today we are not learning theory only, we are building a real time project from scratch. Hello everyone, welcome back to Cloud BI Academy. I'm Vijay Dedi, and in today's highly practical Python session, and we are going to master Python file handling, exceptional handling, logging module, and real time project development. So, this video is designed for beginners, working professionals, interview preparation, and real project implementation. So, make sure you watch till the end because today project is going to make your Python development skill look professional. So, first thing we can understand what is file handling. So, whenever we want to store data permanently, we use files. So, file like our notepad files. So, your notepad files, Python script, data storing process. Okay. So, whenever we want to store data permanently, we use files because variables store data temporarily in memory. But files help us save data, read data later, update records, maintain reports, and store logs. In real companies, employee records, application logs, reports, configuration, and audit files, everything is stored using files. And file mode, if I'm uh, elaborate this file modes, so R used for the read and W used for the write, A used for append, X used for the create, and two more thing is there RB. This is for read binary and WB. It's WB. It's your write binary, and AB and others are all are also there. So we can discuss later in our next classes. So first, go through with one demo that is related to the write file. So I will show you some code related to that. So for example, we have a write file is there. Okay, so I can remove this one. Okay, so here, if we start with first line, so if you go through with this first line, here open means it means we are opening any file. Okay, so open, there is a employee.txt file. Okay, we are opening here, and W means your write mode. Okay, so write mode it means insert data, and close. So close basically used for close the file connection. So always remember, closing file is extremely important. It means if you have open anything, so you can close that one. So if you go through with these lines, so you can understand the syntax. So if we have created here we have a file variable. We are opening this one in a write mode, and here we have put employee name, department, and then we close that. Okay. So this is example of write file. Okay. Now next thing understand related to how to read file. So for reading the files, so here we have reading a file. Okay. So this is how application load reports, configuration, and user information. Okay. Suppose you do not want to overwrite existing data. So in that scenario, what you do? This is a write and read operations. Sorry, write and read files. Next thing we understand, like add any new record. Okay. So then we use the append mode. So for understand the append mode, we go through with this way, because sometimes we have getting we have already one file is there. Okay. And in our delta load we are getting every day we are getting a new files, new data. Okay. So in that scenario we using the append mode. So in append mode what we are doing here, in append mode we start same thing is there. We have just appending our data. Okay. It means we are opening our file in appending mode. Okay. And here we have insert a new record as a salary is equal to 50,000. Okay. So now old data remains safe. It means it is not replacing any old data. It is just a new data gets added at the bottom. So in real project, developer avoid manual close. Instead, we use with statement. Okay. So how we are doing that part? Let's I can show you. Because every time you are not doing a manual thing like manual closing and all. So here if you understand this one like with open. Okay. Employee.text, our read operation as file, and data is equal to file dot read and print data. So this is automatically close the file, and this is a professional coding practice. So if you understand this read, write, append things, let's understand our next thing important part is exception handling. So now this is the most important concept in our Python development, because without this your application can crash anytime. So an exception, we can say that an exception is an error occurring during execution. For example, file not found. Okay. So this is a exception handle because we are going to add some we are going to search anything and we are unable to find that part. So that is a one exception. Divide by zero, we are aware about that. And invalid input, we are providing uh, invalid data, and sometime database failure. Okay, so these things we can manage with our exception handling. For example, here I have typed num is equal to 10 divisible by 0 and print num. Okay, so division error, division by 0. Okay, we are getting these type of. So application crashed. So now imagine this happening in production. So what we do here, we are using a try and accept method. So now instead of crashing, the application handle the error gracefully. So I will show you that solution for that. So here we are using the try and catch, try and exception. Sorry. So in try, num is equal to 10 divided by 0, print num, except print error occurred. Okay. So it can be handling the error. Okay. So this is the way we are handling here. Now understand multiple except blocks. So for example, I can change this one is a better way how to. So for example, here we have number variable, and here we have provide any integer value and result 10 by number. Okay, except 0 division error, cannot divided by 0. Okay, except value error, invalid input, and except exception as e. So different error handle separately. So for example, I can put 0, cannot divide by 0. Okay, so that is the way we can handle our error in a different way. Now next and important, same thing how to perform for our file handling. Okay, so for file handling we can do, I can show you something. So for file handling, because these type of error we are getting for our files, so simple we can put like that. Here we have a provide the read operation for our file, and here we have exception handling. If file not found, we are getting this message, and if we are getting the file, we execution complete successfully. So basically it is used for this. Now this new thing is finally. What is this? So finally block always executes. Okay, and it is used for closing connections, cleanup, and resource release. For you know that, like if we are doing any transactional thing, so it is using our resources. And if we are using this, so it can easily release your resources. Now next thing, understand in a different way custom exceptions. So in real companies, developer create custom exception, because these are the demos thing, like we can show that like divisible by zero or something. Okay, so I go through with one example that is related to our salary debugging. Okay, so for that one, we create a class salary exception, and if we provide any negative value, so we are getting that message. Okay, so for that one, like here we have created a class. Okay, exception custom class. Here we have provided a salary is equal to minus 100. So if salary is greater than 0 or salary is less than 0, so we get the salary cannot be negative. Okay, so what happened, like what we are getting here? So basically it is improve our debugging, readability and business validation. Now next most important things, if we talk about our production level, that is logging. Okay, so for logging, we can understand with that logging means recording application activities. Okay, companies use logs to track errors, monitor system, debug issues, and audit application. So different log levels are there. Like for example, I go through with debug. Okay, so debug basically detailed information. Info, it is your normal activity. Warning, error. So these are the log level, and one more critical. Okay, so these are the log labels. So first we understand with our basic logging. So for basic logging, uh, instead of print statement, we are using here logging. Okay, so I will. So first we understand this logging. Okay, and this is a basic logging. Logging basic config. Okay, logging info. Application is started. If we are getting any warning, load disk space. Okay, and if any error, so file missing. And how to logging into file. So this is best approach while we logging into file. So now we are every log we are now logged into file. It means log are stored permanently. So you are understand that like logging basic config. Here we have provided a file name, label. Okay, logging info, and here we have provided the timing, label name, which label, and the message. Okay, so This is the example for logging into file. Now we will now combine file handling, exception handling, and logging into one real project. Okay, so we can go line by line. So basically, project flow is user provides some input. Okay, we are validating, then file storage, then logging and error handling. So these are the steps we are put in one code and understand the line by line. Okay. Now let's understand this project line by line. Okay. So first is logging dot basic config. So basically this create our logging system. Okay. Here we have creating our logging system. Then create custom exception. So for that one we are using here. So this is validating the business rule. Okay. So business rule, this function, this code is for validate the business rule. Okay. After that, we have done our logging configuration and create a custom exception. Then next thing is take user input. So here we have provided the input. So what are the things we have provided here? In input, we have provided the employee ID, name, department, and salary. So once we receive the user input, our next focus on the validating that salary. Okay. So for validating salary, we are using here if salary is less than zero, salary cannot be negative. This exception we are getting. Okay. And using with open, it is employee record stored permanently. Okay. And next it is generate log. For generating the logs, we using here logging info, employee added. Okay, so this information we are using here. So this create application tracking. So what we are doing here, we have checked the valid employee, data inserted, log generated. Okay, so this is a case first where we are doing validation related to the employee. Next case is related to check the negative salary. That is called your custom exception triggered here. And next important thing is string instead of salary. So except value error, logging error, invalid salary input. It means we have put some text value here. Okay. So these type of exception we can capture here. So go one more time here. One second. Line by line. Import logging. Logging.basic config. Here we have basic configuration provided. Then we provide user input. Then we check the exception, custom exception handling. Okay. And this is for validating the salary. So this is the one example uh, for combining all the things. Our create open any file and doing exception error handling for that one. Now the most important thing, like what type of questions asked by interviewer. So first important questions interviewer asks, that is difference between write and append mode. Okay. And second important question, why use with statement, difference between exception and syntax error, what is finally blocks, why logging is important in production, and difference between print and logging. So in real companies, banking system, healthcare application, ETL pipeline, automation tool, APIs, ERP system all heavily dependent on logging, error handling, and file management. So today we learned Python file handling, read, write, and append, exception handling, try and except finally, custom exceptions, logging module, real-time project implementation, and now your Python application will look more professional and production ready. So if you enjoyed this session, like the video, share with your friend and subscribe to the channel and comment my Python master. And in the next video, we will build another real world Python automation project. Thanks and bye.